So these are the two examples we did not get to in class yesterday. So the first thing you need to know is the simple interest formula. So I stands for interest, and it's money paid for the use of money. So it's the cost of borrowing money. And so basically, if you are to invest money like in a bank and they use your money, you get paid interest off of it so you can make money because they're borrowing your money and basically investing it in other things. Principal is the P, and it stands for the total amount borrowed. Rate is expressed as a decimal, and then time is typically written in years. So it says through a summer job, Morgan is able to save $2,500 if she puts that money into a 6-month certificate of deposit that pays a simple interest rate of 3% per year. How much money will she have in her CD at the end of the month? And when it says end of the month, it means the end of the 6 months. So we need to fill in our formula. So I equals principal. So principal is how much she put in. So 2,500 times rate, which is 3% per year. We have to write it as a decimal. So that would be 0.03. And then time, which needs to be written in years because that's what the rate is listed at. So 6 months would be 0.50. It would be half a year. So we type this into a calculator and we get 37.5. Just rereading the question one more time, it says how much money will she have at the end of the months? And so she makes $37.50, but she still has her $2,500 that she started with. So we need to add those two together. And so when you do that, she would have $2,537.50 at the end of those months. The second interest problem says you win $24,000 and to decide to invest your money into two different investments, one paying 18% and the other paying 12%. A year later, you have $27,480 total. How much did you invest in each account? So to solve this problem, we really need to sit and break down what's happening. So you're investing in two separate accounts. Let's call our first investment X. After we make that first investment, we can't invest X in the second one. We can only invest whatever's left over from our $24,000. So for our second investment, we would write $24,000 minus X. So it's just taking whatever's left over and investing it in the second investment. So then I'm going to write an equation that would represent the interest I make off of each investment. So remember, it's interest equals principal times rate times time. So for this first one, so I'm going to call this first investment interest. My interest equation would look like this. It would equal the principal amount that I am investing, so that was X, times the rate, so I'm just going to use the first one I see, which needs to be written as a decimal, so 0.18, and then time, so a year later, so a year would be 1. And then I'm actually just going to simplify this to be 0.18x. Okay, my second investment interest would be set up very similar. So it would be our principal amount that we invest, so $24,000 minus X, and just make sure you put it in parentheses, times the rate, so the second rate would be 0.12, times the time, which is 1 year, and then I'm just going to simplify a little bit. So when I distribute, I get 2,880 and then minus 0.12x. Now, to finish this off, I need to think about what is really happening. And so this total amount comes from a few things. So the total, and if you think back to our last problem, comes from the principal plus our interest. And so if I kind of fill this in, our total is 27,480. The principal amount we invested all together was 24,000. Plus the interest I'm making is actually two separate things. So here's the equation for the interest I'm going to make off the first, and here's the interest I'll make off the second. And so I would need to add those amounts on. And then you can just solve. So start by combining like terms. Subtract 26,880 from both sides. And then I'm actually going to write over here now. Divide. And you figure out that X is $10,000. So following up with our question, how much did you invest in each account? So the first investment that had 18% interest, I invested $10,000. And in the account that had 12% interest, if I take 24,000 minus 10,000, I invested $14,000.